Now guys, let us come to the economic cause. East India Company, they introduced various kinds of new acts, law and order. Those were imposed on the poor peasants and the tribals simultaneously. So their acts, whatever the acts, those were imposed on the peasants, especially the peasants and the tribals. Those were so harsh, so rigid. As consequence, the peasants and the tribes or the tribal people or the Adivasis, they were dying in starvation, or they were passing their days in misery, distress and anguish, or they were compelled to leave that region and they were compelled to migrate to other region. The zamindars, the moneylenders, they were forcing them, or they used to force them to borrow money from them. In the previous chapter also I discussed. This is the continuation of the previous chapter. It is 5 and that was 4. So they were forcing those tribals and the peasants to borrow money from them in high interest. They could not repay. If any of them, they had their own land, they could not repay the money. As a result, their lands were seized by the zamindars or seized by British company, and often it happened the children, the parents along with the children, they had to sleep in empty stomach. They were passing their days on starvation, and famine, it was a common factor during that time. Due to famine, hundreds of people died during that time. An intense economic crisis, it was faced by the peasants and the tribes. They were also peasants. They were dependent on forest. They were dependent on wildlife. So an intense economic crisis that was visible during that time, during 19th century or mid of 19th century. It was the economic cause of the time and the cause of the rebel and the cause of the revolt against British rule. So guys, today's chapter up to here, and in the next day there will be continuation of this chapter and I will conclude this chapter. So on the basis of today's lecture, on the basis of today's lesson, students, you note down 5 questions. Hope you have heard or you have listened to my lecture, you have followed my teaching. On the basis of my teaching, you note down 5 questions. First question, who are Daikus? Daiku, D-I-K-U. The American accent is Daiku. You can pronounce as Diku also. Who are Daikus? Question number 2. Why the peasants and tribals revolted against British rule? Why the peasants and tribals revolted against British rule? Question 3. Mention the political causes of the rebel by the peasants and tribals against British rule. Mention the political causes of rebel by the peasants and tribals against British rule. Question 4. What is subsidiary alliance? Guys, you have already noted down, so I am not repeating the spelling. What is subsidiary alliance? Question number 5. What is the economic cause of the rebel during 19th century? What is the economic cause of the rebel during 19th century? So guys, this much for the day. You will answer all the questions based on my teaching, based on my lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe. God bless you. Bye bye.